Sparky Miraclone takes more skill than Hog Quake. Now you may think I'm a maniac for saying that, but just let me explain. Clash Royale is and always will be a game of matchups. So much so that some games can be decided before the match even starts. People try to avoid bad matchups by using a meta deck. Sadly, there is a reason why Sparky Miraclone is not a meta deck. Well, it's pretty horrible. And I think it's fair to say that someone using a horrible deck high ladder would require more skill than someone using a good deck high ladder. So if you want to show off how skillful you are, you should start playing Sparky Miraclone. Now the problem with meta decks is that while playing top ladder, 95% of decks will be meta decks based around the most recent balance changes. It's rare these days to see a deck that you haven't faced before in top ladder. Mid ladder is a bit of a different story, but we'll get to that later. The lack of variety in gameplay has been a big issue over the last couple of years, making the game boring. But evolutions have helped to change that. I just wish they were more accessible to the casual player. These metas can also force cards to be bad. Say, if Golem is meta, you can't run Expo. If Quake is meta, you can't run Expo. I'm now only just realising how many hard counters there are to Expo. The mid-ladder gameplay is completely different from top ladder, mainly seeing homemade decks, but even these have a problem with variety. I already touched upon the high usage rate of megaknight in mid-ladder in my previous video, but it gets boring going against the same card every 3 matches, especially in a matchup-based game. If your deck is completely countered by a popular card like megaknight, the system punishes creativity with decks and pressures people into using stock standard meta decks. I'd love a competition where meta decks were disallowed, just to see a bit more creativity among people. I myself may be a tiny bit biased when it comes to playing the game creatively, as I do prefer to use a couple of underused cards in a way that no one else really does except in 2v2s. Unfortunately, Clash Royale is not a perfectly balanced game. There are a lot of cards that have been neglected because they simply do not provide enough value to be worth using in the top ladder. Royal Recruits, Barb Heart, Clone, Minion Horde all suffer from too much splash. Mirror is only good when there's an OP card. Expo is Expo, Rascals, Furnace, E-Golem, Battle Healer, Goblin Heart, Witch, Skelly Dragons, Elixir Pump, and the list goes on, limiting the variety of the game even further. An update I'd love to see in Clash Royale is a daily challenge to use a deck to win a game. The deck would be different for everyone and contain underused cards, and you'd get like 1,000 gold, 5 gems, and a gold chest or something for a win. And on a weekend maybe they could hold a harder challenge with a bigger reward. I think it would have to be held in Path of Legends, and cards for the challenge would temporarily raise to the league standard, and I think that there should be a temporary golden step for players doing the challenge, and people in Ultimate Champion would face people from Royal Champ but not lose any Path of Legends medals. In conclusion, Sparky Miraclone is skill. Goodbye. Go watch these.